Now I'm back to the stage of putting the machine back together again. And just to start with, if you do have a Wadkin or you do have a machine and you have a manual, you're in a good place. If you have the old machinery like the Wadkins, bear in mind they're all available. The actual catalogues are all available online. So my one here is the BF500. So you'll be able to see what the machine looks like stripped down because the diagrams are in there within it. So in my case, just to show it on camera there, this is the diagram sheet that I'm looking at. Now I've had the machine stripped down before for another reason. So they're available online. So if you look up Wadkin catalogues, you'll see them. They're all listed, I think, under Dalton's in England, who are a company that actually work on fixing the machines. All right. And they do the spare parts. I don't say they refurbish, but they also sell the spare parts. Now in some cases that mightn't be feasible for somebody that's not in the UK. So in my case, I have a good fitter turner. And this is the culprit. This is the new one he made. We were going to go for brass, so we changed our mind. He said the aluminium one would be more than adequate. So we made it just square and kept it as simple as possible. So the culprit was the grease nipple, the grease bar. To grease the bar was actually blocked. So over time, the thread wasn't getting proper lubrication. So the thread then dust would actually accumulate along the bar over time. And again, to start clogging the thread inside and putting pressure on it. That in turn would affect the motion of the wheel and the stiffness, the resistance of it to rise up and fall. So the wheel was hard to turn, so I knew there was something wrong with the winding mechanism. Thought it was elsewhere to do with the chain mechanisms and all that, but I checked that out before. Anyway, the root cause of it was this bar had de-threaded itself onto the threaded Acme bar. An Acme bar, for anybody who doesn't know, and I'm not an engineer by any means, I've just been working on machines when they break down over the years and learn how to fix them. So it's a good skill to have. The Acme bar, or the threaded bar with the Acme thread on it, is designed to take a load. So it's for rises, falls, it's used a lot in industry. So most of the machines you would have, if you have a saw, you'll see an Acme threaded bar on that. It'll do for the rise and fall normally, or if it isn't that, it'll do for the actual tilting mechanism over to 45 degrees. So I've everything done from the point of view of doing all the maintenance through downtime. What do I mean by that? I've made sure there's a grease nipple here to grease the mechanism down here at the bottom, which is this guy, and these what should I call them? Bearings. All right, it's stuck for words today. So these are bearings. So there's a bearing at the top of the bar up here, and there's a bearing at the bottom of it. This is the heavy duty one, and that sits alongside this guy. They go together like that. The bar comes through it, and there's a locking nut on this side of it. There's also a keyway in the bar, which prevents this guy from slipping. So there's a keyway, just in case you don't know what a keyway is. That's a keyway. So that little guy, if I can get my clumsy thumbs out of the way there, that's a keyway, which this particular guy, mind that, will slip in over there. It'll slip in. You can see the keyway slot in that. So I mightn't be too clear today. I'm a bit all over the place with the way I'm presenting. However, we'll get there. So that's the bearing that I have. I've also washed the bearings. If you're going to wash bearings, just make sure that there's no wear in them. If there's wear in the bearing, go away and buy a new one. It's money well spent. I found no play or wear in any of the bearings, even though the machine is probably a 1970s job. So it's nearly 60 years old, I would say, 70 into 50 years old. All the bearings that I had, the top ones and the bottom ones, the top set, which go at the back of the bar, up this end of the machine, and the bottom one, they connect there, one here, one up here. I found no wear in them, but a very good idea when you do have downtime is take them off, wash them thoroughly with in diesel, get a drop of diesel, brush them down, get the movement free and clear, and have them back to new again, and make sure they're dry and dust free before you put them back into the machine. Don't let dust or dirt or grit or anything get on them. That's the way a part will actually break down. So everything is to do with hygiene. So that's my little key, I'll put that in there. So in my case here, I've put through the bar there. I've made sure that that grease nipple here as well is clear. So I've sent grease through to make sure it's clear. And you can see here on the bar that it's actually pulled the grease out. and that's good. That means that it's not blocked. So I can take that off of there, and I'm ready to put my pieces together. That's the actual carrier piece on the left hand side here. So I'll take that down here first. I can take it down further here. Oh no, I can't. Just about enough to get my hand in there to actually rotate that. So it's just a little tricky to get it on. So it's in position there. If I put the light on it there, hope the camera can pick that up. I'm just going to go to the back of the camera myself to see if it is picking it up. Okay, so you can see the carrier piece up here, so that's good. So it's just a matter of rotate that to get it down far enough. I'm just going to take something that'll give me, my fingers are slippy. So just bear with me a moment. And I'm just taking a bit of time. I was winding the bar the wrong way there. It's a left-handed thread, so you have to be careful the way you're winding it. Both bars have left-handed threads on them. Now I'm going the right way there, just need a bit of grip there for friction. And I'm sending the bar back out through the top end so I can put the bearing back in at the back. Or the receiving end of the machine. Feed outside I'm talking about. Now I can take that bar down here. The next thing to go on is this guy, and I have to be careful about the way it goes. It's in 3 parts, but there's a double connector there, which is the bottom end, so it goes that side up. That's going in there next, like so. And then this guy is next in. So he's next in there. I just forgot something there now. He's not next in. My keyway is next in. I've got to make sure my keyway goes in there first. That sits in there beautifully. And this guy slips in over, just line up the slots. And there you go. So the keyway prevents this guy from slipping. So that's what keyways are for. So I'm back down to nuts and bolts here. So I just have the lock nut on this here. And that's a standard right-handed thread on that. Now I'll tighten that later on. For the moment I'll leave everything loose. So I needed to get into my mechanism here, so I'm just going